Steve his information at the order.
Dependra?
Is he coming?
Yeah, he's coming.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
He is coming, as far as I know.
Yeah,
He is
he's-
coming.
Well, I can go first if he's not here. It's okay.
Yeah, he's got
Just
5
knock
minutes.
him out of the way.
Get out of the way. Shoo
Out of the way.
you. See more passages. Ladies first, man.
Oh,
Ladies first,
today's
absolutely.
All right. It is exactly 12 o'clock to the second. Welcome, everyone,
Welcome.
to another exciting meeting here at Canyon Park Echoes. It's a pleasure to be here. We have a guest. Would you like to introduce yourself today?
Yeah, hi, I'm Daniel. I work as a software engineer at Trey's company.
Whoa.
Nice to meet you all.
Hey, guys, it's great to have Chris for a boss.
This is his first experience at Toastmasters, so let's give him a
I
warm
wonder
welcome.
what Tracy's told him, that's what I
I
can't
was-
figure out.
I told her about you, Linda. That's what I told him. That's why he's coming. He wanted
Linda, Trey's our VP of FUN. So.
Yes, he is. He's our VP of FUN. And
The joke master.
I doubt that Trey has shared with him all of his finest moments, so we'll maybe
I
get
am
Trey,
sure, I think, well, me too, yes.
perhaps Trey's golf lesson. If anybody recalls Trey's big golf lesson up here where we almost dismantled yours or someone else's laptop.
And his drumming.
And the people below us absolutely love Trey when he speaks because he always makes sure that they're paying attention down there.
Right, what was the day we were jumping around in here and
Oh,
we were admonished by Pat?
We've really, we've made some noise in here. We've had some fun.
We give them full value for
There's
what
been
they
more
pay.
than one meeting where people around outside of this room have been like, what are they doing in there?
They should join us.
And that's we're trying to attract new vibrant members. So.
I sound
Welcome Daniel, thanks for joining us. We do have an exciting meeting planned just in time.
Who's here?
We do have an exciting meeting planned for you today. We have two fantastic speakers
We do.
and we have some exciting table topics. The theme for today is From the Heart.
Oh, from the
Now,
check it out.
It sounds very vanilla and generic for Valentine's Day, but this is actually very meaningful to me because when I first started speaking in public for my business and in Toastmasters, one of my early mentors, a gentleman named Shan Stratton, told me a story about speaking from the heart, and it really resonated with me, and I learned that when you're trying to convey a thought or an idea, a lot of times we get nervous and we're worried about saying the perfect thing and sounding smart and sounding like a professional speaker. Oftentimes, when you get stuck, best thing to do is just take a deep breath, clear your mind, and just speak from the heart. Because I promise you the right words will come out that will be powerful and impactful. And it'll make your speech that much better or whatever point it is you're trying to make. So anytime you're giving a speech or just speaking with someone and you lose your place or you don't really know what to say, just speak from the heart and be genuine. And so we have a very exciting meeting planned for you, a couple audacious speakers that we're going to hear from today. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce to you our general evaluator for the day, who has had a very challenging job right up until this very minute, Miss Linda Whittleson.
It has been fun. I think everything, as far, the two evaluators are the proper names, every other role totally changed. Some days it's just like that. Some days it's just like that. So first of all, I would like to introduce our esteemed grammarian. If you would please, Barb McIntyre, come and the word of the day that you have chosen, and your handwriting is beautiful, may I say.
Why, thank you, Vanna. If you will point to the word of the day, today it is audacious. And I don't know who audaciously picked this word, but I am very happy to step into this role today. And I had to sort of, I had to try to arm wrestle this lady over here for the role. So I won. We're going to put it that way. Please try to use the word as often as you can. Sprinkle it in there wherever it seems to fit, or if you're Trey, Cheryl, sprinkle it in there where it doesn't even fit. I'm going to be listening for that, but I'll also be listening for correct and incorrect uses of the English language. I can't even hold a candle to our general evaluator, Linda Whittlesey. She is so good at that, but I'm gonna really try and listen hard. And then at the end of the meeting, I will give you suggestions if I heard any incorrect grammar as to how you could correct that. And I will give you the winner, and the winner gets a golden heart.
Thank you so much. That's the kind of team I have here. I'm counter, Miss Kathy Nishihara.
Thank you,
Put
Madam
that
General
name in.
Evaluator.
Yes.
As all counter, I will be listening for correct words such as,
My team is speaking here.
many people, oftentimes you'll hear them, especially on TV when they're interviewing, the first word out of their mouths, or even during a meeting when somebody asks you a question, first word out of people's mouth is so I'll be listening for that. Other distracting words, so you'll hear people connect all their sentences with and. So I'll be listening for those types of words and give a report at the end of the meeting.
And the person we can always count on to be a good timer is Ellen Nicoletti. Ellen, would you explain what you're ready to do?
Kathy, talking about it's very hard for Asian to perfect not using it because of the language. They always thought it's part of it. I do that because when I talk to my mom and I start talking to my husband, Charles, he realized I talked to my mom. Very fast. My role today is to be a timer. Today we have two speakers, Julie and Dependra. Dependra's speech is 10 to 12 minutes. At 10 minutes, I will turn on the green light.
Other side.
It's upside down.
It's upside
Oh,
down.
they're upside down.
You see why I got the grammarian role?
That was good. That was
Trying to
good.
throw around the bus.
At 12 minutes, it will be, I will
It's
turn
not
on the
plugged in,
red,
or did you
yellow.
turn it on? Oh, there's not. Okay.
12 minutes and 30 seconds, Dependra. At 15 minutes, I'll turn on the red.
I thought it was 10 to 12.
10 to
10 to
12.
12.
So it'll be 10, 11, and 12.
Oh,
Yeah.
10, 11, 12. Thank you.
We could get another fill-in timer if needed.
Next.
It's so rough today.
Audition's over. It's time for the next one.
Thank you so much.
Julie, I hope I get this right. 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
At 5 minutes, I'll turn on the green.
Yes,
At 6 minutes, I'll turn on the yellow.
yes.
At 7 minutes, I'll turn on the red.
Okie dokie.
Ellen, we all remember our first meeting.
I haven't been since last year. I've been here since last year. For evaluator, it's 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll turn on the green. At 2.5 minutes, I'll turn on the yellow. And at 3 minutes, I'll turn on the red. And table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, you have to speak at least 1 minute to qualify for the ribbon. At 1 minute, I'll turn on the green, and 1 minute and 30 seconds, I'll turn on yellow. At 2 minutes, I'll turn on the red. And you have 30 seconds to wrap up to qualify for the speech, for evaluation, and for table topics. That's it for me.
Thank you so much. And I will be back with the rest of my crew a little later. Toastmasters.
It was very audacious of Linda to stop in the middle of her introductions and scold the audience. It's been a long time dream of mine to be able to shush the audience myself. And that takes boldness. That's a learned skill in Toastmasters, because oftentimes you're up here speaking and people are goofing off or doing something and distracting you, and you don't say anything, and sometimes you want to be shut up. I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Club. Shut up. So thank you, Linda, for your bold, audacious shushing.
And yet gracious.
And gracious, very gracious. It was entertaining even.
I didn't feel punished.
On his last speech, Depender spoke about the advantages and disadvantages of deploying your applications to the cloud. Now let's say that you've decided to take the leap and want to take advantages of cloud. Want to take advantages of cloud. So what are the next steps for you? Please welcome Dependra, who will explain. Did I give
give you enough time.
No, that's fine. I'm going to take the easiest step. Instead of using the big projector, I'm going to use this little screen.
Should I bring the cable?
Is it?
We could probably get it. We have to.
Oh, there it is.
30 seconds. Do we have anybody want to dance?
Do it.
Anybody dance? Julie dances.
Impromptu dance party. Seems right. It's Valentine's. It used to be good.
There's a table.
Someday I want to get all your inhibitions. I want you to just go over
Okay.
there.
Right, yeah.
There are things I won't do. Name them.
I will do that.
Depends on, you should have an HDMI.
very short list.
laptop.
Might not on the new books. You have to have a converter. 2 seconds.
When I was in the USB, I didn't show it.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
I loved it when you came. I know I told you this.
Sorry.
It's a really good eye test. I'm always looking things like crack up. And the whole room is like flickering.
You want to click on it?
No. Hello, everyone.
What is cloud?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
And I'm sure a lot of you want to talk about maybe some romantic story, maybe want to hear about something that's related to a Valentine's. But no, I'm going to change the mood, change the subject to a good old boring IT. So today I'm going to, the agenda for today is, I'll briefly touch on what cloud is, for those of you who are not here on the last speech that I had provided or may not be familiar. And then the second thing, I'll briefly also touch on the advantage, disadvantage at a very high level. And then I will drill down into, okay, what are some of the options you have available if you have taken that leap of faith to move your applications, to move your infrastructure to the cloud. And I'll break down some of the options you have. Right? And please feel free to stop me if I go too fast or if I'm going too slow, or if you have questions, if I use certain words that's used in the industry but may not be familiar, please just raise your hand and then I'll make sure I'll address your concerns. And towards the end, if we have time permitting, we can also do a Q&A. Right? So the very first one, what is cloud? So the cloud is made up of molecules of water. The cloud computing is made up of network of computers. That's all it is. And in our context, it's virtual computing resources that are available to you as long as you have access to internet and a laptop or a desktop computer. In the past, if you needed this massive virtual computing power to, let's say, run your stock exchange or to run your application that serve hundreds of thousands of people, then you needed to buy this big giant machine with a number of processors, memory, storage, and so on. But no more, right? If you are starting out, if you have a small mom and pop type shop, but the entry requires you to have some sort of access to a physical machine or computing resources, all you need today is click of a button and a credit card. And you can get as big of a machine it is, and however that you are willing to pay for it based on your uses. And that's kind of cloud in a nutshell, right? Cloud computing. The second aspect of it is the advantage and disadvantages. The advantage, of course, if you are a company or a small business that's focused on, let's say, I used to be in a donut. I want to hire people who are focused on making donut or producing or doing R&D on donuts, not have to worry about my IT infrastructure, right? That's not my core business, so it allows me to focus on my core business. The second thing is it's pay as you go. For example, if there is a once a year November sales or February 14th is the day for your flour. If you're in the flour business, you need a lot of computing resource on that day. You can scale. You can buy the resource for that day and then scale it down and not pay for remainder of the year, right? So that's the advantage, the ability to scale out and then scale down. And then on the disadvantage side, now you are relying on third-party vendor. If you are in the business of sensitive data, then you are relying on third-party vendor to ensure that they are protecting the data for your customers, right? For example, if I'm relying on Amazon or Google Cloud to provide me that computing resource, my application is only available as the infrastructure is available. I don't have a control on it, on the security or the availability. So that's kind of some of the disadvantages. But let's say the advantage is one, and you have decided to deploy your application, or at least start thinking about it. So what are the options you have? Can you just go, use the credit card, go and buy? What are the choices you have? So primarily, you have, 3 model of deploying your applications in the cloud. And if you look at this, this deck here, it's better to read from right to left. So the first option is IaaS, right? IaaS. It's called Infrastructure as a Service. So think of it as a physical machine with certain amount of memory, storage, and networking. Think of this as a replacement of you calling HP and saying, hey, give me a big giant machine that costs you $300,000. Except that now you don't have to worry about shipping, racking, stacking, setting this all up. Except that you can do this all virtually. That's what IaaS provides you. That's the starting step for majority of customers or majority of companies who are trying to make the move, where they're saying, no, I have too much reliance on the people that I have. That level of skill sets may not be available on the cloud. That customization is not available. Then you can just replace your physical hardware with bare bone infrastructure services on the cloud. Right? So that is your first step. The second one is the PaaS, and it's called Platform as a Service. On the PaaS, you get all the advantages that the IaaS give you, without having to worry about everything that's associated with physical infrastructure. On top of it, you also get the operating system. So for example, let's say Windows operating system or Linux or Red Hat. That's part of the PaaS, right? And then on top of it, it also gives you the platform that your application is associated with. So for example, let's say you run analytics. You run a company that provides analytics services to other businesses. How many people are accessing my website? How many sales you are having? What does the social media interactions are talking about your company? Is it good? Is it bad? If you're in the business of that type of analytics and you rely database services, right, where you are storing the data and then making analytics decisions on top of it, the platform as a service is a choice for you, where the vendor, such as Amazon, Google, or Microsoft Azure, is taking care of all of your physical infrastructure as well as the database component. So the only thing you are worried about at this point is the data. And after all, that's what you want to focus on. I want to focus on the customer's data. I want to make sense of the data that the customers have and not have to worry about, hey, is it Oracle running? Is Oracle down? Who do I call if I'm getting error on the operations of that services itself? So that's platform as a service. The third option you have is the SaaS. It's called software as a service. And we may all think, oh, this cloud is a new fad, but if you think about it, cloud has been around for a very, very long time. If you have used Hotmail, I don't know how many of you remember. Hotmail, right? Yes, right? So Hotmail, think of that as a perfect example of software as a service. If you needed an email service, you don't need a big machine to host the physical server that hosts the application that runs the Hotmail services. Rather, all I want to know is, hey, do I have an email addresses? Can you make sure I get the email? I can send the email. That is software as a service. Now take the same concept and apply it, let's say if you're in a small company where you have to run payroll for 50 employees. Well, I don't want to buy physical hardware to run payroll for 50 employees. I don't want to buy the ADP software, some payroll processing software. All I want to do is pay these guys for the hours that I'm asking you to do. And that is software as a service, right? Another example is some of the collaborative software. So for example, you may have people working here, you may have people working the East Coast and across halfway around the world. Some of the collaboration software, for example, SharePoint, right, from Microsoft. That's another example of software as a service. All I'm saying is, hey, I'm going to have 50 people who are going to be using this SharePoint services, and make sure that never goes down. And if it does go down, you take responsibility of making sure it is up and running. So that's another example. So at a high level, if I look at it, IaaS is your first step, migrate it, right? You don't want to change anything, but you want to avoid the hassle of buying and negotiating with the hardware vendors. Just migrate as is, take everything you have, put it to the cloud, right? That's your first step, migrate it. The second one is the PaaS. You have now the hardware, now you build on top of it, right? So all the application development, the decision support that I mentioned, the analytics, the website, the hosting, you do that on the PaaS. And then now, once you have matured that IaaS and PaaS, next step for you is, why should I even worry about this environment? All I care about is, can I do the job that I need to do? And your ultimate cloud state would be that SaaS, software as a service. I just want to do what I need to do to run my business. Right? So that's the SaaS. Any questions on these three choices? Yes, Linda.
Oh, I just have a question. It's kind of a generic question.
Sure.
What are the redundancies? Because I know that the data is really stored here.
Yes.
For whoever. How many redundancies do they have? Because I should be concerned about that, I think.
Very good question. Yes, very good questions. And if you talk to any of these cloud service providers, they will say, "Oh, don't worry about it."
Right.
Right? They will say, "Oh, your data is always backed up, it's always there," until it is not there, right? But that is available. So for example, Azure, based on what you pay, Microsoft Azure provides you the option to have your redundant data in multiple sites within the US or halfway around the world. There are some regulatory requirements also. For example, certain data cannot be stored outside of the US, right? But within the US, you have the choice. So it's very easy. You go there and you say, okay, this is the redundancy I want, and this is my SLA, service level agreement, this is my the restore time, this is the maximum you have, and it's all configurable. The more redundancy you want, the more you pay for it. But it is there, yes, absolutely. Any other questions?
How do they protect the SPI data? Because I'm into the industry and the telecom carriers are so strict that they don't even allow us to carry our laptop with their data outside US.
Yes, absolutely. So that is a concern, and that is one of the disadvantages, right? That's been spelled out, if you are deciding to move to the cloud. But there is a way, you can have a private cloud, you can have a hybrid cloud where you are building your network, you are building your security on their infrastructure. That option is there, yes. So, cloud is here to stay, please embrace it. Thank you very much.
Let's have 1 minute for evaluations, please.
Warren Buffett, JP Morgan, Amazon, and they are coming into partnership.
Okay, I have very negative or very positive repercussions.
The share price of the old pharma company.
So Canada's looking good. God.
Julie will be speaking from the Competent Communicator Manual, doing project number 4, How to Say It. Julie says she has a dream of being incredibly articulate, like the upper class British you see on public TV, never erring in grammar, always having just the right words available. Let's welcome Julie and see how she says it.
What's the title?
How to Say It. It's called How to Say It, and it's Project How to Say It. Whew. I will do my audacious best to say exactly what I mean, which is what this speech requests that I do, to find the exact, right, specific words to communicate my ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly. With over 1 million words in the English language, wouldn't you think it would be easy to find the right word? There's always got to be a word available, right? In fact, did you know that languages evolve in cultures to suit the most critical needs that the cultures have? That's true. If you look at Arctic indigenous people around the world, they have over 200 words for ice and snow. That thrills a lot of you, I know. In fact, in northern Scandinavia and Russia, they have 1,000 words for reindeer. But I bet they don't have a phrase called umbrella drink. You can look at a language and determine what the culture deems important. Around here, for example, right here in Seattle, we've developed an entire language around coffee. Can you imagine walking into Starbucks with just the word coffee to say what you want? Do you think you could get your grande half-calf organic breve mochaccino with a dollop of foam? I don't even know if that's a real drink. We have dozens of words for coffee, ladies and gentlemen, but we have in English just one word for love. Coffee is critical, of course, but isn't love more important? I mean, it's the greatest of human desires. Once we're well-fed and well-coffeed, it is the greatest of human desires, right? It rises to the top of the file. We yearn to find that one person, that one soulmate on the whole planet that will meet all of our needs forever. And I admit it, I use the phrase, I love you, probably a little too loosely. I'll sit with my honey, Steve, at dinner, a romantic anniversary dinner, and say, I love you, Steve. Yet, the very next night, when he's out of the house and I'm in the kitchen by myself, I'll say, I love you, macaroni and cheese. Surely Steve deserves a different expression for how I feel about him than how I feel about macaroni and cheese. The ancient Greeks had 6 words for love. 6. We have 1, they have 6. Number 1 was eros, or sexual passion. And the Greeks didn't even consider this always a positive thing. They thought it was irrational and dangerous. People wanted to fall madly in love. Yet in our society, we've elevated this romantic love to the very key to a happy life, and without it, we are going to be miserable. Dear God, please let me fall madly in love, and I will never, ever ask for another thing. Number 2, philia, or deep, deep friendship. Now, the Greeks valued this much more highly than eros. This was the brotherly love that developed on the battlefield with your brothers in arms. You would be willing to lay down your life for your brothers in arms. We have hundreds of friends on Facebook, but would we sacrifice our lives for any of them? Number 3, ludus, or playful love. I think of puppies with this. This is also children. It's young, flirtatious love. I think of salsa dancing. We all need some of that. Agape is love for everyone, selfless love for everyone, people that we know, people that we don't know. What has happened to agape in our current world? Empathy rates in the United States have dropped precipitously in the last 40 years, and especially in the last 10. What is going to happen to our world if we don't regain the capacity to care about strangers. Number 5, pragma, or long-standing abiding love, the type that you see within a couple who spend together successfully many, many years. That love has patience and tolerance and willingness to compromise for the sake of the relationship. Our society seems fixed on falling in love, but look at our divorce rate. I think we need to focus not just on falling in love, but in standing in love, acting intentionally to keep our love going. Love is an action, not just a report. Number 6 is philautia, love of the self in a healthy way. Not the narcissistic, self-obsessive sort of way, but the way that allows you to stand in front of the mirror and say, I like myself. I'm really okay with myself. If I can do that, I can give a lot of love everywhere. 6 words versus 1 word. Shall we use the Greek's 6 types of love to expand our thinking about love? How we cultivate love, how we value love? Dare we take the pressure off our one soulmate to meet every single need? And woe be to them if they can't. On today, Valentine's Day, we celebrate our culture's obsession with romantic love. And it can be a really lonely day if you're single or if your relationship is troubled. So today, I invite you to take this piece of paper and use it as a map to fill out all the love in your life. To make conscious all the types of love that you have in your life. Add categories, make up words, get conscious of all the love in your life. Toastmasters, I wish you an audacious abundance of eros, philia, ludus, agape, pragma, and philautia. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. 1 minute for evaluations, please. These fortune cookies are phenomenal.
It's from Seattle.
They're good. It is now time for many of our favorite parts of the meeting where we get to do a little bit of improv, speaking off the cuff. And this is often an opportunity to get our guests up here speaking. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our Table Topics Master of the Day, Ms. Kate Annensen.
Well, whoever guesses the theme of Table Topics today is my first victim. No takers. Well, it's Valentine's Day. Shocking, I know. But they are kind of fun, and feel free to twist these however best applies to your own life. Go off topic. It doesn't matter. The minute is yours. Do I have anyone who would like to go first? Let's start volunteering people. You stood up a little bit.
Linda.
Voluntold.
Man.
You're such a good sport.
I am a good sport.
All right, Linda.
Okay. What is your favorite romantic pair? Are they from a movie, a book, history, your own life? Why? Why do they speak to you? Why do you relate to them? Yeah, for sure.
I would like to talk about favorite. I cannot even think. I just can't. My mind is blank because I was going after the sheet for the GE role, and now I was going to talk about romantic role. You know what? I think I would say my ideal pair was my dog Pookie and the neighbor dog. Yeah, Pookie was a little, probably a Cocker Spaniel poodle or something. We weren't sure what she was. We got her at some kind of, and then just on the street, just picked her up. We were pretty dumb. So we had Pookie, and we didn't know enough to get her, fixed, spayed, neutered, whatever. And so one day, she went out and found the neighbor's dog, who was like a golden retriever or something. And that was not a pretty sight. And but nonetheless, she produced 6 really cute puppies. Really cute puppies. We then got Pookie fixed, so that was the end of both romantic engagements. But I don't know. I will just say that I remember being so shocked that this event had happened, and I called the vet to see if we could do something about it. I didn't know what they had. And you know what he asked me? He said, "How old is the bitch?" I said, "Wait a minute." She's somewhat promiscuous. I want to call her that. And then it occurred to me what I had just done. So that is it. That's romance for you. Pookie and the neighbor's dog whose name I don't remember.
Oh my goodness. Have anyone else who would like to come up? Yes? No?
Everybody has a role today. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to start picking us up.
Right.
Be back.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Valentine's Day is about more than just romantic love. So do you do anything special for your family, your pets, your friends, kids, coworkers today? How do you show your love to the people around you in all of those different forms that we just got told all about? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. From my point of view, February 14th, Valentine's Day, is a business gimmick.
Go ahead, show us the romance, dude. Go ahead.
Let's have some fun. My point of view of love is to help your family every day. And the way I do it is to put the dishes in the dishwasher every day. Take out the dishes every morning after they are cleaned. Help your daughter to do the homework, because love is omnipotent. You don't have to be loving just your wife. You can love your family, you can love your kids, and you can love your neighbors. Even when you go out, just make a happy face, smile, and say good morning. That's spreading love outside your house. So from my point of view, what I feel like today, yes, we do special things like today evening, our family has put together, like we will have a dinner together and have a chocolate fondue with some fruits dipped into it and have some sweetness so that we remind ourselves, yes, it's a business day, but we show our love to each other and not fight. That's what my love is.
We do have time for a couple more. Does anybody else not have a role today? Trey, you want to come on up?
Yeah, I'll come on.
Thanks, Let's see. Valentine's Day is all about the chocolate and flowers. But what is your favorite thing you've ever actually received or given on this Hallmark holiday?
So it wasn't Valentine's Day, but I was living in a house down by the University of Washington just after I moved in. So there was it was a frat house that I was living in, and there was another house beside ours, and it was St. Patrick's Day, that's the day it was. And the girls had come over and stolen our underwear, and what are they dyed it green. And we all had to wear green underwear. All the guys had to wear green underwear, and we had to show that we were wearing green underwear. So, and I wouldn't call it the most loving, but it was very entertaining. Jorge, would you mind standing up and showing us what underwear you're wearing today? I mean, it just adds a perspective to the day that just, So, I don't know how you spell romance for you, but for me that was kind of one of those ones that the girls just kind of, and the guys, well, it was a good day, and it wasn't really audacious, it was more bodacious. So, I think I'll call it quits there, because I'm probably...
You sure?
Well, I now know if I'm table topics again for St. Patrick's Day, so questions I'll have for you. Do I have any other volunteers? We've got time for about one more. Anybody else doesn't have a role today? Is everybody all, our pretty small group? I don't know, you just got pointed to, so that, I'm not gonna say who.
I'm not gonna ask anyone what color underwear they're wearing.
That is not one of the questions I put on here. Let's see. Things like dinner cruises, helicopter rides, and tandem skydiving are becoming popular gifts. So if you could give or receive an experience-based gift, what do you think it would be? Big in our culture nowadays.
An experience-based gift. I've done many of those things. I have definitely been skydiving. I've been on many adventures throughout my life. One experience-based gift I would love to get is for a trip to go to Maui to go paragliding in the up in the mountains, over the volcanoes and through the forests, in the rainforest. I think that would be an amazing time. And of course, to get out of Seattle weather for a few days, to enjoy some tropical sun and some fresh fruit and good company with friends. And I would like to take all of you along with me,
Yes.
because it would be an audacious time, and we would enjoy each other's company. And Trey would probably be asking some inappropriate questions. I would love to go paragliding in Hawaii. That would be amazing. Thank you very much.
All right, so I'll hand back to, I think we are at time.
That's actually me.
Yes, yeah.
So I should have just stayed up.
Welcome back up. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate, for your topics. And we're looking forward to hearing the winner of our table topics at the very end. It's going to be exciting. I would like to welcome our general evaluator, Linda, back up, who's going to introduce our evaluation team, and we're going to get to that portion of the meeting.
Thank you. I am excited to listen to our evaluators too. Those are two really good speeches. Our first evaluator to evaluate the candidate is Jorge Restrepo. Jorge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President. I am going to be evaluating Dipendra today. Dipendra was quite audacious to take a complex subject and explain it with simple words, not as audacious as other folks that ask more intimate questions about underwear. He succeeded, Dipendra, in taking those complicated topics and just slicing them one by one in using simple words to explain what they were. You had a funny opening with the cloud. Fortunately, it's not raining too much, at least inside here. The flow was good. However, I think you could have planned a little more to be able to use some graphics and slides to explain your concepts a little more, because they were pretty darn small. You were organized, you were thorough, your transitions were good, although soft and effective. And in general, a good, simple language to take on a topic like IT and the applications on the cloud. Your closing was a little short and abrupt, I believe. And I noticed that there was no clear call for action to invite the audience to take a specific course of action. So that's what I have for you. In general, very good, and I congratulate you.
Man, I wish I could do that.
I know, it's cool, isn't it? For our second evaluator, for our second evaluator, we're inviting back Trey.
Fellow Toastmasters, our guest, and mostly Julie. Julie, what a great speech.
Thank you.
I loved the way you started it out with a big pause. You stood up here for, I'm guessing, 15 seconds in just pure silence. And it draws us in. It makes us go, what's happening? I really appreciated how you spoke about language. And with 1 million words in the English language and only one to describe love. And then you contrasted it with others. You talked about there being 200 words for people like Eskimos to describe snow and ice. I think I only know one word to describe snow and ice. I guess cold and slippery. I mean, maybe there's a couple more, but I don't have a lot to describe snow and ice. And when you took it to coffee, that was especially good because it localized it for us. And I've had to learn how to order coffee and not sound like a dork in Starbucks, and it's one of these funny things. And as you described love so aptly for today, with the 6 different words, it just was an excellent thematic and relevant to us. And I don't often give out handouts, and I really appreciate it when somebody does, when somebody makes it so that it's not just the experience of being talked to and listening to it, but you can actually engage in some manner with it. And I think as a club, we could do a lot better at that, to provide tangible handouts to enable somebody to take something home and do something more with it. So I really appreciated how you did that. And I appreciated how you got into the detail of each of those words. Because I've heard people describe those words and use those words in different situations, and I honestly haven't always known the meaning of them. And I also appreciated how you used the word coffeed. And I didn't actually think that was a word, but when you used it, I went, yes, I know coffeed, I know uncoffeed. And I felt uncoffeed, and that's not a good feeling. So I think there's one thing you should have done. I think you should have invited us, asked the question of us, why? Why in the English language do we have one word for love? I think I was listening to your whole speech and going, why? Why? Yes, I get that for coffee. I get it for snow and ice. Why? Thank you, Julie. Awesome job.
Good job, good job. Now I'd like to hear from the other evaluators. First of all, we have Ellen. Can you just give us, if everybody made it or not, who qualified for the voting and who did not? And then they can get their individual times from you.
Everyone qualifies except Steve. 58 seconds.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. So Steve is not eligible for our voting. Okay.
Dependra, 12 minutes and 28 seconds.
The next question was too long.
12 minutes and 28 seconds.
It's still within the time.
Yeah.
Wait a
minute. Yeah.
We'll blame it on you anyway.
Yeah, my question was within time limit.
Yes, I'm just telling him what it is.
So, right. So these three speakers for table topics and both of our main speakers and our evaluators are eligible for the voting, so we can vote on our forms. I would like to also now call up the counter to tell us how many of those little mistakes that we all probably made. Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you. We did pretty good today. Steve, as president, Toastmaster, and table topics, I hear a lot of ands, and you connect your sentences with a lot of ands. Thank you. For speakers, Dipendra, they're subtle, they're not very loud, but I do hear quite a few ahs and some knows. Julia didn't hear anything. Jorge, 3 ahs. Trey as evaluator, 2 so's and some and. And was kind of a popular distractor word. And then also Trey for your table topics. So there's like 4 so's. Barbara's grammarian, 1 ah. Ellen as timer, 1 Kate, 1 Linda, I didn't hear anything your table topics. Vivek, I didn't hear anything table topics. And that is it.
Thank you so much. Very, very. And now for the grammarian, Madam Grammarian, would you please give us your report?
I do. I have some examples this time.
Thank you.
Dipendra, one thing you said was analytics a few times, and I believe it was analytics is what you meant. It took me a while to catch it, so I thought I would share it. And I love what cloud is, what is the cloud? So the cloud, a couple times you said that. And I loved your cloud, the cloud, because I think we were all ready for the IT speech and we know what the cloud is and that's what we expected. And the cloud is full of particles and moisture. I really appreciated that. And you did use the word of the day. Julie, I didn't catch anything to correct. Oh, beautiful uses, too many to list. And you used the word of the day twice. Trey, when you said it makes us go, what's happening? That's kind of a Treyism. If you didn't want to be so much yourself, you might consider saying, and I was drawn in, wondering, what's happening with her silence. But we like you just the way you are. I enjoyed and appreciated your verbiage when you said tangible handouts to enable members. Very well said. I used the word of the day once. If I caught anything incorrect, I wouldn't have reported it. Vivek, said loving is only potent, I believe. There was something there that I didn't quite understand. Omnipotent. Okay. Omnipotent, thank you.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't get it, but I was hoping that you would, so thank you, Julie. And today evening is actually this evening, and you used the word of the day. And Steve, you're the clear winner on audacious. You used it 4 times. We can clap, however. You also used amazing about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So I thought I was watching an episode of The Bachelor. So maybe instead of just giving you one heart, we can all unwrap a heart and have you lift up your shirt and we can like put it on you.
Thank you for that visual. This meeting for my evaluation, meeting like last Saturday, we were in very good shape. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and today, my team just dropped. I don't know if they're weak or afraid or I don't know. But
It's Valentine.
it's Valentine's. Valentine's on a full moon probably. I don't know. So I think I hate it when the meeting doesn't go like it should. When I'm on the GE or the Toastmaster, I'm just like a drill sergeant. Today, it was just crazy. So thank you for those who stepped in at the last minute, which was like my whole crew except for the 2 real evaluators. So I would give myself like not good grades for my general evaluation because I'm supposed to like get that better, but they fell on me today. What can I say? It's not my fault, I guess. I think the Toastmaster and I worked really well together. We were in communication a lot, trying to figure out the role. So, but once we got in the meeting, it was one of our typical fun meetings. Disorganized as all get out, but it all came together. So that is my evaluation. Now back to the Toastmaster.
Evaluator, what a great meeting we had. And the truth is, we always have these last minute chaotic changes.
Not this many.
But one thing Canyon Park we've had far worse meetings.
We've had no.
This year we've had far worse. Canyon Park Echoes is phenomenal at coming together, at working together, at stepping up and getting things done and filling in roles and making a meeting fly even when it doesn't seem like it's ever going to even get off the ground. So I want to thank each and every one of you for your participation, for your boldness and your audaciousness and stepping up. And we always make it somehow, some way. We always make it. It's always fun. We always have a great time. So thank you all. We do have some winners to announce and some ribbons to give away. I want to first bring up our best table topics, who is Vivek. Thank you. For our best evaluator, Mr. Trey. Oh! Sleight of hand, we missed. And last but not least, our best speaker was Julie, who has agape love for this, all of us.
Smushy.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful meeting. Thank you all for your participation. Thank you for the wonderful table topics questions. Thank you. Daniel, would you like to share any thoughts? Do you have any different impressions on your employer at this time?
I've known him for years.
That's nothing.
Trey is our permanent VP of FUN. FUNN, there's a second N in there.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I actually tried to get him a name badge made that said VP of FUNN and Toastmasters International wanted nothing to do with that. I got an email saying, no, that's not happening.
Oh my goodness.
Nonetheless, I can't read that
Will you
far.
remind that on the 24th? Yeah.
Yes, we have 45 seconds.
Yeah.
By the way, a couple of quick things coming up.